devices. Literary devices are ways of taking writing beyond its straightforward and literal meaning. And let me go by the definition of literary devices. They are tools or typical structures that are used by writers in their works in order to hint at a larger idea or theme or meaning in a simple way to his or her readers. So in simple terms, literary devices are tools used by writers in their works to convey a message in a simple way to his or her readers. So central to all the literary devices, there is an inherent connection between them. So by establishing and examining the relationship between things, a reader who reads a literary text, he looks at the world in a new different way. And that's the purpose of literary devices. Now, there is another important essence in literary devices. It is that it might be a poem or a novel or a short story. A literary work is a beauty in itself, but the usage of literary devices make the literary work more beautiful. It gives the power to the literary work. And one more important thing is that literary devices are used by writers in order to highlight an important or an interesting detail that they want to highlight in their work. Let us look at some of the important literary devices used by writers in their works. The first one is simile. So simile is a literary device which is used for comparison. And using simile, we can compare two dissimilar things by using the words like or as. So here I have given two examples. Mittu is dressed like an angel. So Mittu is a girl. She is dressed like an angel. So here Mittu is compared to an angel by the usage of simile like. Likewise, in the following example, you are as brave as a lion. So a person is compared to a lion because of his bravery by the usage of the word as. So the next literary device, metaphor, is more or less same as a simile. But here in metaphor, we compare two dissimilar things without the usage of like or as. For example, Mittu is a rose. So Mittu is the name of a girl. She is compared to a rose. Her beauty is compared to that of a rose. So here the comparison is apparent, but there is no usage of like or as. Same thing goes with the next example. Her eyes were diamonds. So here eyes are compared to diamonds without the usage of like or as. The next literary device that we are going to see is alliteration. Alliteration is a literary device that involves the repetition of consonant sounds in the beginning of words in the same line. So in the same line, if the beginning of words, if there is a repetition of consonant sounds, then it is called as an alliteration. It is not just the repetition of consonant letters, but it is the repetition of consonant sounds in the beginning of words in the same line. Now let us look at the examples. Better butter makes the batter better. So in this particular sentence, the sound b is repeated in the same sentence. Better butter always makes the batter better. So here alliteration is used. The next example, go and gather the green leaves. So here g sound is repeated. Anaphora. So anaphora is also similar to that of alliteration, but here the word or phrase is itself repeated. So the repetition of word or phrase at the beginning of successive sentences, phrases or clauses, that is called as anaphora. So I have given here one of the most famous lines from Charles Dickens's A Tale of Two Cities. Actually this is the beginning line of that particular novel. Okay, let me read it. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, and it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. So Charles Dickens has used anaphora by repeating the phrase "it was." So he has used this because he wants to reinforce to the reader that the time he is describing is a far past that is filled with the opposites and extremes. So we could literally see that he says that it was the best of times, but in the very next following line he says that it was the worst of times. So it's very obvious that he has used anaphora in this particular sentence. And usually writers, they use anaphora in their writings in order to convey or emphasize or to reinforce some kind of a stronger meaning. And the usage of anaphora, it also makes the reader engage with the story more. Okay. And the next literary device that we are going to see is hyperbole. So hyperbole, it's also a rhetoric literary device that actually heightens the effect. Okay, it heightens the effect by creating an exaggeration. So hyperbole is a description which creates exaggeration. For example, there are 3 examples that I have given. The greatest human being to walk on earth. So here this particular phrase can be used to describe someone. So we call them as the greatest human being ever to walk the earth. So there is no such human being on this world, but we exaggerate that particular person. We want to show the love that we have for someone. So that's why we use this phrase. And in the next example, I'm so hungry that I could eat a horse. So this person is really hungry, so that he will eat a horse, that's because of his starvation. So that's an impossible thing. So here the writer is trying to exaggerate the starvation of that particular person. And the same thing goes with the next example. I am dying of thirst. So this person is dying of being thirsty. So this thirsty is leading to his death. So it's also an impossible thing, and here it's exaggerated. The I am dying of thirst is an exaggeration of something. The next literary device is personification. Personification is a literary device wherein the writer attributes human qualities to a thing, an idea, or an animal. So giving human qualities to a thing, an idea, or an animal. For example, the flowers are dancing beside the lake. So in this particular sentence, as I have highlighted here, dancing is the key word. So dancing is usually an action done by human beings, right? So here flowers are considered to be dancing. So here the human quality of dancing is attributed to the flowers. So as we can see, the flowers are personified. Okay, and in the following example, my alarm yelled at me this morning. So yelling means shouting. Yell means shout. Okay, so yelling is also a quality of human beings, but here in this particular example, it says that my alarm yelled at me. So here alarm is personified. The final literary device that we are going to discuss in this video is onomatopoeia. So this is a word that imitates the natural sound that it represents. So onomatopoeia, it creates a natural effect, okay, because we tend to imitate the natural sound that it represents, that a thing represents. The thing behind using onomatopoeia is that by using onomatopoeic words, the readers feel that the sentences or the literary content is more expressive and interesting also. For example, the buzzing bee flew away. So in this particular sentence, the usage of buzzing is an extra thing. Without the usage of buzzing itself, the sentence is complete. The bee flew away. But by using buzzing, there is an extra effect upon this sentence. The same thing goes with the next example. The books fell on the table with a loud thump. So the books actually fell. So the falling of books is described using the word thump. That falling sound is described here using the word thump. So here in these 2 examples, buzzing and thump are onomatopoeic words. So that's it with the literary devices. Thank you for listening.